Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind the Country Chic Cottage. Today, Cricut is announcing the Cricut Maker 4, and I have one here ahead of time so I could test it and make this video and show you all about it. Now, this video is sponsored by Cricut, however all projects and opinions are my own, and they did send me this machine ahead of time, but they are announcing the Cricut Maker 4 today. They're also announcing the Cricut Explore 4 today, and I have another video on that machine. So I will link to that in the description below this one, so if you want to learn more about both machines, or you're just interested in the Explore 4, you can check out that video. So this Cricut Maker 4 is in the seashell color, and this will be available February 28th in the US and Canada on Cricut.com. Now they're also releasing a sage color, and in the US, Mexico, and Canada, it will be available at Michael's on February 28th in a bundle. Now if you're outside of those areas, so outside of US, Canada, Mexico, then the availability date is March 14th, and it's only in sage. So this seashell color is a great neutral. It kind of has a metallic top looking, which I really like. And then the sage color is also really gorgeous. So it just depends on which one that you want to get. So first of all, this is the Maker 4. It's the new generation of the Maker. Let's rapid fire some of the differences between this and the previous models. Now when we're talking previous models with the Maker, there's the original Maker, the Maker 3, and the Maker 4. There was not a Maker 2, so just want to clarify that before I get started. And I'm going to rapid fire sort of the changes, but we are going to test this machine further in this video, so I'm going to have tons more content. But if you're just like, what is the differences? I just want those. So the biggest difference for the Maker 4 is that it is 2 times faster, even on a mat. So the previous generation, the Maker 3, it was faster, but only on smart materials. The technology in the Maker 4 makes it up to 2 times faster with materials on the mat as well. And yes, we are going to put that to the test later in this video with various materials so we can see just how fast this machine is. And I'm going to set it next to my Maker 3, and we're really going to test and see which materials are faster. The Maker 4 is also packaged with more materials than ever before, so you get more with the base machine. That includes materials to make up to 10 projects. So right out of the box, you can start creating and sort of testing your machine and making several projects. Now the MSRP for the Maker 4 is $3.99, especially given that it has more within the box. So I'm excited about that as well. We are going to walk through the setup process in this video as well, so you can see just how easy they've made this machine to set up. I know you're really going to like it. First of all, I mentioned those box contents and how it comes with those materials. Let's take a look at everything that comes with the Maker 4. In the box you have the machine itself. You will need to remove some packaging material. Inside of the machine, already installed, there is the fine point blade in clamp B. Inside of the box, you also get power cord, USB cord, fine point black pen. There is a mini weeding tool, documentation, as well as materials. Now there are enough materials inside here to make about 10 projects. So tons of materials, smart vinyl, smart iron-on, some paper, tons of materials to play around with. And then you do get a light grip mat within the packaging as well. So there's plenty here to start creating when you get the Maker 4 out of the box. The machine itself has not changed dimensions from previous Maker models. You just lift the lid to open the machine. It has 4 buttons on one side: power, load, unload, a go button, and a pause button to pause the cut. There's storage on the side as well as in the tray itself. The tray opens up. You have A clamp and B clamp. A clamp would be for things like Cricut pens, and you just drop your pen in, push it down until it clicks, and close the clamp to use pens. For blades, you just open the clamp, remove the blade that's inside, and you can add other blades to this machine. Now, I mentioned it comes with the fine point blade. There are many other tools that you can purchase additionally for Maker machines, and any of your Maker tools are going to work with the Maker 4. So that includes all of the Explore tools. So you could use the deep point blade, you could use a bonded fabric blade, you could use the foiling tool with all 3 of the tips. Maker specific tools are going to be the ones with the gear on the top, and these are the ones that only work with Maker machines. You have the rotary blade that is great for cutting fabric, knife blade for super thick materials, and then there is the quick swap housing that you can use with a variety of tips, and that includes engraving, double and single scoring wheels, debossing tools, wavy blade, and perf blade. For each of these, you would just press the plunger down, add the tip to the quick swap housing, and you just pop this blade into the clamp. Works the same with the rotary and the knife blade as well. Then optionally, if you don't have the scoring wheels, you can also use the scoring stylus in clamp A with the Maker machine as well. The Maker comes with one fine point black pen. However, you can get a wide variety of pens, permanent markers, infusible ink pens, tons of different things to fit into this clamp and draw with this machine. So if you already have a Cricut machine, Maker, or Explorer, your tools will still fit within the Maker 4. The Maker 4 comes with a light grip mat, which is great for vinyl, paper, iron-on, different light materials. However, you can purchase additional types of mats for different projects. So the blue is a light grip, you have a green standard grip, a purple strong grip, the pink is a fabric grip. Then there's also an additional optional purchase of a card mat where you can cut pre-folded cards. So all of these can be used for a wide variety of projects. We're gonna test a few projects within this video. I will probably use some of these other mats, but primarily the blue mat is what I use probably most often. So you can definitely make a ton of projects right out of the box. If you are cutting smart materials with your Maker 4, you can also purchase a roll holder that will attach to the tray. And this will hold the rolls of material in order for you to cut that smart material without a mat. Now, you can cut the rolls with or without this tray. However, it's a bit easier with the tray, and you might want to consider it if you're going to cut a lot of smart material on a long roll. The roll holder was originally for the Maker 3, and it definitely fits the Maker 4 as well. So now we have it out of the box. Now it's time to walk through that super easy setup procedure. So let's take a look at that. So then you just head to cricut.com/setup, and it literally walks you through the setup process. If you need to download Cricut Design Space, it will walk you through that as well. The setup of the machine is very simple, and you can choose whether to connect your machine via Bluetooth or USB cord during this process. Once you get through the process, you can do a test cut with your machine. So there was some smart vinyl in the packet, and I can just add that to my machine. Just make sure it's under the guides on both sides, push it up against the rollers, and press the load unload button on the side. The machine will then load the material, measure the material, make sure I have the correct blade installed, then just press the flashing go button to start the cut. This will then do that test cut. So this is just sort of the Cricut logo, just sort of as your first project. When it first moves over here, it is testing to make sure that you have the right blade installed. And it will give you an error if the blade is incorrect. It may take a few seconds for the cut to start, but then you can sort of just kind of watch the magic. Watch the magic of your first cut, especially if this is your first Cricut machine. This is a great starter project in order for you to see just what this machine can do. Plus it's very, very easy, right? I just loaded the vinyl and now I have a decal. So this is adhesive vinyl, and once it's done, I can press the unload button to unload that. Then I can just peel this off, and I have the Cricut logo all cut just within a few seconds. So I have my first project. This is adhesive on the back. It's sticky. I can stick it anywhere. I have made my first sticker with my Cricut machine. So during that setup procedure, if you don't have Cricut Design Space already, it will prompt you to download Cricut Design Space. Cricut Design Space is what you're going to use to send your designs to your Cricut machine. Now, what I showed you on the screen was on desktop, and you can use it with a computer. However, there is a mobile app as well, so you could use it with your phone or tablet or whatever and send your designs to your Maker 4 via Bluetooth with those devices. So it just depends on which one you want to use. Now, I will caution you that with the Maker models, not all blades are compatible with the mobile device. So let's say that you bought the Maker 4 just for the knife blade to cut, say, wood. that would not work with a mobile device. So you do want to use a little bit of caution there when you pick up the Maker and make sure what you want to create you can actually make if you only have a tablet or phone. If you're confused about Cricut Design Space, new to Cricut, I do have a video that you will want to watch, and I will link to that in the description below this video, so head there for some resources on that. So that kind of brings me to what materials can the Maker 4 cut. So the Maker 4 can cut everything that the previous models could. And that is literally thousands of materials. I could not list them all in this video, and I can't cut them all in this video either. Now on the Cricut website, they do have a full list of materials if you want to check that out. I will tell you that the Maker series is the top of the line. So this is the one that's going to cut the most out of all the Cricut machines on the market. This thing can cut thin materials. So if you're talking about iron-on or vinyl or paper, this machine has you. But it can also cut fabric like a dream. This is my go-to machine for cutting any type of fabric. It also cuts thicker materials, way thicker materials with that knife blade. So we're talking like wood, balsa wood, basswood. Real leather cuts great with this machine. It also has that engraving and debossing and all those different tips that I showed you. So you can do a wide variety of functions with this machine that you just can't do with other models of Cricut machines. So this machine is definitely the top of the line and the machine that you can do the most with. And that applies to all the Maker models. So you're not losing anything with the Maker 4. You're just gaining with that up to 2 times faster speed. And yes, it's almost time to test that. I did want to run through really quickly like max sizes with a Cricut Maker just in case you're new to Cricut crafting. So on Smart Materials, your maximum width is going to be 11.7 inches. And on Smart Materials, it can be up to 12 feet. Now, if you are using materials on a mat, it's going to be 11.5 inches wide. And if you're using the long mat, you can go up to 23.5 inches long. If you just have the 12 by 12 mat, it's 11.5 inches by 11.5 inches maximum. Now this machine can cut up to 2.4 millimeters thick, but it's going to depend on the material you're cutting, whether it can actually cut up to that thick. So I would definitely check out the Cricut website for like the specific material and how thick this machine will go. So now it's testing time. I'm going to put the Maker 4 next to the Maker 3. We're going to cut several things, and I'm going to leave all of the cutting at regular speed. So I'm not going to speed up any of the cutting portions of the video. So I'm going to cut some Smart Materials. I'm going to cut some materials on the mat, like some iron-on the mat, some paper on the mat. Probably put a pin in here and see if that's any faster. Do some print and cut. Maybe cut some leather, some wood, and I'm thinking fabric as well. So I'm just going to cut several different things with this. Speed test side by side. Which one wins, and is this actually faster, and is it actually worth the money? We are going to find out and get into that at the end of this video. So let's cut some things and look at some speed tests. For the speed test videos, the Maker 3 will be on the left, Maker 4 will be on the right, and I will leave all of the cutting portions of the video in real time so you can actually see the cutting speed. I'm going to send it from the same computer, press the go buttons at the exact same time. So both are going to be using the same internet connection and Bluetooth connection. And then I'm going to cut the exact same materials on both. So this should make it where it is a good comparison of the speeds of these. So first I'm going to cut Smart Vinyl. It is the exact same Smart Vinyl that I'm cutting on both machines. And I'm going to load both machines first. Both machines are loaded and ready, and I'm going to press the go buttons at the exact same time. For that cut, the Maker 3 took a really long time to think through the process. I'm going to try the cut one more time, moving the same cut over to this side. I will just see if the same thing happens again. So I'm going to go ahead and unload both of these, and we'll cut one more time. Alright, so I have the material reloaded, designed on this side this time. Let's just see if the Maker 3 still takes that long to process. I just want to make sure there wasn't a connection issue at all. So I'm going to press the go button at the same time on both again. So the Maker 4 was still faster with material off the mat. However, the Maker 3 definitely had a connection issue that first time. So I'm gonna unload both of these and we're gonna test some material on the mat. Next, I'm cutting a sheet of iron-on that I'm gonna place on the mat. And this is the same iron-on for both. And you wanna make sure you put shiny side down on the mat and mirror your cut. Get it stuck down on the mat really well. So now we load the mat in the same way, putting it under those guides, pushing up, pressing the button. Now I'm going to press the go button on both at the exact same time. The Maker 4 is already done. You can really see a difference in the cutting speed when you use the mat. The speed difference is really incredible. So Maker 3 is still cutting, Maker 4 is done. I'm gonna go ahead and unload this one. And we'll take a look at the cuts in a minute, but definitely the cuts are still just as high quality on both machines. Maker 3 is finally done and we'll go ahead and unload. For the next one, I added just like a medium cardstock to the mat. And for this one, I'm going to add some draw lines to my cut. So I'm gonna pop the pen into clamp A on both machines. That way we can see if in fact it's faster cutting and drawing, or if it's just cutting. I'm gonna go ahead and load the mat into both of these machines. Then I'll press the go buttons at the exact same time. So once again, the Maker 4 is done way before the Maker 3 is complete. On the mat, this machine is so much faster. So the pen drew faster as well as the cutting blade cut faster in the case of the Maker 4. So now they're both done and I'm gonna go ahead and remove the mat in both cases. So I do want to test some other materials. First one I'm going to test is leather. Now, I don't have two deep point blades, I don't have two knife blades, so we're going to use a timer for these tests here. So I have a strong grip mat, and this is Cricut Genuine Leather. And I did mirror my cut because I like to cut this face down, just like help save your mat a little bit. It calls for the deep point blade, so I'm going to swap out the blade on this. And we'll go ahead and load this up. You do also have to move the star wheels that are on the bar all the way over, just so there's no drag. And at the same time I hit the go button on the machine, I'm going to click start on the timer on my phone here. So it's 1 minute, 28 seconds. So we can just remove this from the machine. And I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that same process on the Maker 3 and we'll see how long it takes. So the Maker 3 set up the same way, deep point blade in, have loaded my mat. I'm gonna press the go button and start the timer at the same time. So that was like 1:29 seconds maybe. So the Maker 4 might have been like 1 second faster. Next up is basswood, and I've attached some wood to a strong grip mat, tape all around it. I did modify the design to remove all those internal pieces, same hot air balloon. Wood does not cut well with intricate details, so I did want like a big shape. So now I'm gonna load the mat, and we're gonna do this in the same way. I don't have 2 knife blades. So we're gonna press go and start at the same time. Now this design does say it's going to take approximately 5 minutes to cut. I will leave this running so we can see how long it takes, but I'm definitely not going to leave the video on for the entire cut. So that took 6 minutes, 3 seconds on the Maker 4. I have this loaded on the Maker 3 machine. I actually moved the design over to this area so I could just flip the mat over. So I'm going to go ahead and click start on the timer and go at the same time. Again, this is going to take a long time to cut, so I'm not going to show the entire thing in the video. I'll just show you the final time at the end. Literally it was, 6 minutes and almost 3 seconds. So really no difference between the two when cutting with the knife blade on wood. Now, I do want to say that with wood, you're supposed to check the cuts at this point and add more passes if needed. I just did the standard 14 passes, so I would have a comparison for time is what I was looking for, is just time only of like how long it takes to cut. Next, I have the rotary blade installed in the Maker 4. I only have one rotary blade again, and I'm going to cut fabric. I have some fabric on the fabric grip mat. Again, I'm just going to do the outline of the hot air balloon. These blades don't really like intricate designs. So I'm going to press go on the machine and start on the timer at the same time. So it was 53 seconds, almost 54. We'll call it 53. Go ahead and unload this. And now I can redo this mat for the Maker 3. So now I'm going to go ahead and load the mat into the Maker 3. I'm going to press go and the timer at the same time. Was a little over 57 seconds. That means that the Maker 4 was about 4 seconds faster when cutting the same design. Next up is a print and cut project. Now I calibrated both machines. For a new machine, you will need to run calibration before you do a print and cut project. I went ahead and calibrated this one so we could see the same results on both. I printed these from Cricut Design Space on an inkjet printer, and I do have a full video on how to use print and cut, so head there if you're confused about print and cut at all. What's going to happen is that the Cricut machine is going to read these registration marks and it's going to cut around what I've printed on this printable vinyl. So I'm going to go ahead and load the mat into both machines. And now I'm going to press the go button at the same time on both. The first part of the process is literally reading the registration marks, and it looks like they're about equal on speed as far as seeing those registration marks. Then it's going to detect the blade and start to cut both of these. So the Maker 4 is done with all 9 of these stickers, and the Maker 3 was about halfway through with the 5th sticker. So definitely 2 times as fast on print and cut. I'm gonna go ahead and let the Maker 3 finish this. So I did do a through cut on these, so you can see that it cut all the way through the liner. So you can do a through cut or a kiss cut. Then once this machine's done, I'm gonna go ahead and unload both of these, and we'll take a look at the cuts we were able to get with both these machines. These machines really had the same high quality cuts no matter what material I cut with them. I can't even tell a difference between the cuts on the 2 machines. It is just that the Maker 4 was faster in a lot of the cases when I cut material on a mat. So like with the paper and different things like that, especially the print and cut. I love the fact that the print and cut was so much faster with the Maker 4, and my stickers all look great. So same quality cuts with both machines. So now you've seen the Maker 4 in action up against the Maker 3. So now you see what the up to 2 times faster means. So with the test, the on the mat cuts with the fine point blade are what impressed me the most. So things like cutting iron-on or vinyl on a mat, cutting paper on a mat, print and cut on the mat. Definitely was way faster with the Maker 4. Now I had some slight improvements with some of the other blades, like the rotary blade was a little faster with the Maker 4, but overall the specialty blades weren't that much different. And then smart materials weren't that different either. They were about the same speed with both of the machines. Now I did have that glitch in the very first smart vinyl, and I really think it was a connection issue with the Maker 3. The Maker 3 should not have been that slow. So I did recut that just to give an apples to apples type comparison, and that one was fairly consistent and seemed to be about the same with both machines. So now, final thoughts, and do you need a Maker 4? So first of all, when Cricut approached me with the Maker 4, I was like 2 times faster, and I just wasn't that excited about a 2 times faster machine. Once I saw it cut, print and cut is what got me. When print and cut was that fast with the Maker 4, I was like, okay, I can see why someone would definitely want the Maker 4, because that increased speed could be so beneficial. So, do you need a Maker 4? If you are purchasing a Maker machine for the first time, I would definitely get the latest model and get the Maker 4. Get the latest and greatest, all the new bells and whistles with the Maker 4 machine. If you already have a Maker, say you have a Maker or a Maker 3, do you need to upgrade to the Maker 4? I would say only if you want those faster speeds with on-the-mat cutting. So if you're running a business and you do a lot of print and cut or iron-on cuts that are on the mat, then the Maker 4 could be a really great investment for you. If you are a hobby crafter and just want to get to crafting faster when you cut those projects on the mat, definitely the Maker 4 could be for you. It's probably not for everyone. If you are happy with your current Cricut machine or your current Cricut Maker, say you have the Maker 3 and you are extremely happy with it, probably no reason to upgrade at this time. Maker 4 would be for those that are after those faster cuts. Now I did want to mention here, like, is your Cricut machine going obsolete? Absolutely not. So if you have the Maker or the Maker 3, those are not going away. They are still going to be supported by Cricut. You can still use Cricut Design Space. You can still use your machines. This is just an upgraded version. So the current Cricut machines that are supported are the Joy Extra, the Explore series, so Explore 1, Explore Air 2, Explore 3, Explore 4, the Maker series, Maker, Maker 3, Maker 4, and the Cricut Venture. Now, any older Cricut machines than that, several years ago, Cricut stopped supporting those. But those current machines are definitely still under the support of Cricut, and you can use Cricut Design Space for all of those. So that means if you are happy with your Cricut Explore Air 2 that you got several years ago and it is just a workhorse and a power horse for you, maybe you don't want to upgrade at this time, and that is okay. But you can come back and reference this video when you are ready for an upgrade. Now, perhaps the Maker 4 is not for you. You're like, I don't need to cut all those materials. I just want to cut iron-on vinyl and maybe some paper. Like, I just want to cut thin materials, Angie. Can I get anything cheaper than the Maker 4? Absolutely. There's also an Explore 4 releasing today, and I have a link in the description below this video for a video all about the Explore 4. So you might want to look at that one instead of the Maker 4, save you a little money if you don't need to cut all the things that the Maker cuts. Now, I need to hear from you. Do you have any questions about the Maker 4 itself? If you do, drop down in the comment section and ask away. I will do a feature video on like which Cricut machine is for you now that there are new Cricut machines on the market, and you will see that in a future video, so be sure to subscribe on YouTube if you don't want to miss that. Now, if this video helped you, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, head on over to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. I have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.